So, serving only cached HTTP requests, even for the most dynamic content, that is crazy, right? My name is Eric, and I'm here to tell you how I achieved just that. You all know how HTTP caching works, and you know that it's really good for static websites, static content. This is your marketing website, this is your images, your JavaScript files. Dynamic content, however, not so much. Basically, anything that users can write to doesn't really fit this model. There are basically two problems that prevent dynamic content from being in an HTTP cache. The first one is that cache invalidation is basically based on time. So once you set the maximum age of some piece of content, you have to wait for the timer to run out, and then the cache is invalidated. Second one is the first request after cache has been invalidated always creates a round trip to your server, making it slow. Now, I'm currently creating a order management system for one of my customers, which is like, it's really simple, just a server and some data. Users can read and write basic stuff. However, the data is behind an API, which I don't control myself. So that adds network latency, but much more than that, I have to live with the rate limits of that API. And the endpoint that I'm using the most has a rate limit of 4 requests per second, which is not super great if I want to accommodate more than a few users. So in this case, because of these problems, I cannot use HTTP caching right. One suggestion I got was, well, just use Redis, we use it, we don't really know how it works, but it's awesome. Just mirror the whole API and you're set. Sounds like a lot of work. What if, instead of creating a separate caching solution, we just solve these problems and use HTTP caching? So, what we could do is use the purge function of our favorite reverse proxy to invalidate content. When there are writes, I know which content to purge, do that. And then to solve the first problem. And the second problem by creating some way to warm the cache after it has been invalidated. Since I'm a developer, I like to reinvent the wheel. So what I did instead was write a new reverse proxy that solves these two problems. So on the left, you see the Redis solution, which is not great. There are different kind of requests are hitting different code paths, and I have a mirroring system there with Redis with conflict resolution and all kinds of elaborate things. On the right, I just have one reverse proxy in front of my server. All my reads, 100% of read requests or get requests come from the cache itself, and all writes just go through one simple path via the server, manipulate the API. That is it. I had to write that reverse proxy, of course, which was a little bit of work, but still. So it does a couple of cool things. It works just with regular HTTP headers, and the killer thing is that it updates content rather than invalidate. So everything is always fresh in cache. Automatic cache warming. So I go from a pretty complicated system to a really simple system from the point of view of my app. Now, the takeaway from this is that you should always use the platform. That's what I always say. HTTP is a part of your platform. As web developers, use it the best you can. Second is, please email me if you think this idea is cool, and I will do the effort of properly open sourcing it. Thank you.